This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I'm going to order at 5:02 p.m.
You mean 4:02?
Oh, 5:02 where I'm at. 4:02 Central. It always gets challenging when you're working outside your normal time zone.
This is true.
We are conducting the meeting under the extended executive order from the governor that it can be done remotely. Trustee Graham is attending at the village office, so we are compliant with that. Attendance, Mike McKinnon, chairman and trustee, is present. Jeremy Graham.
Here.
Chad Insko.
I don't think we count, but we're here.
You're here. Jimmy Johnson, he's got his hand raised.
We're here.
You there, Sally?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and Attorney Gaziano.
I'm here. We're all here as the guests.
At the moment, Trustee Malagranda is not yet here. If he does join here shortly, we will acknowledge the time joined. So give me a second to take some notes. Okay, does anybody have any conflict of interest to disclose? Any changes to the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda.
Jeremy Graham will make that motion.
And Mike McKinnon will second. Roll call vote, Jeremy Graham.
Yes.
Mike McKinnon votes yes. And at the moment, Mr. Malagranda is absent. Motion to approve the Public Works minutes from January the 4th.
Jeremy Graham will make that motion.
And Mike McKinnon will second. And I believe I received comments from a couple folks on some of the typographical errors that I had made. So I believe I made an update to those, but and sent it to Kelly, but I'll double check on that. But anything from a technical standpoint. Okay, hearing none, a roll call vote. Jeremy Graham.
Yes.
Mike McKinnon votes yes. And Mr. Malagranda is presently absent. Public comment. Nobody has signed up for anything. I do not see anybody on the screen other than the expected guests and members, so nothing there. Construction funding report. I don't know, Sally, did you send an update one at all? Yep, there it is.
Did last Friday.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. I thought I remember seeing it.
It's pretty clean right now. I can hear my echo in the other room.
Not as bad as earlier.
All of the RRWRD has been updated with the most recent information, like the 1.4 million cash payment, etc. So I feel like this is a good guideline for the future. And then I'm open to questions.
Okay, the only other comment I'll make is I see that, historically, we haven't seen the road salt on there, and I know you've got it on there, and you also sent me an email about the last invoice, seeking approval. And I guess going forward, we had approved not to exceed $12,000. So the amount is underneath that. I guess it would be my opinion on that particular purchase is that we probably do not need to track any residual balance. Probably the next time we would go in to buy the salt, we kind of start over again when we get a small variance.
So you're just assuming that the up to amount then would just cover that one single purchase? And
Yeah, I mean, if we would have approved 20,000 and we only ordered probably 10, I think we probably would try to look for, a subsequent order to be approved. But if when we get to something like this, when we don't know exactly the weight is going to be on the truck, I think we ordered the number of loads we intended on, but yet if they would have filled the trucks up a little bit more, we'd have probably hit the 12. But the fact that maybe they left a little bit of room on them or whatever. So I guess from my standpoint, Chad, unless you look at it differently, I would think that we would consider this particular order a done deal until we approach the board again.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And sometimes we're just at mercy. We do the order based on what the shed can take and what we're approved for. And sometimes they can't give us all the trucks at the same schedule. Sometimes they'll tell us one this week, two the next week, and it's how it rolls. But yeah, the price is per ton, and they don't do that to an exact science, but we pay based on the tear weight or on the final weight.
Yeah, so I guess, Sally, my opinion would be if we've got a small variance like this, I would consider that a done deal. If as Chad indicated, if based on availability, they were only able to ship a portion of it, so they only invoiced us for, let's say, $4,000 rather than 12, because we knew there was more coming. I think in that situation that we probably would want to hold it open till we approve it. But I guess in this particular instance, I would zero out that balance.
Okay. And I think it was confusing before because I'm not sure that the language was not to exceed in the past, but I did check the minutes from the January meeting and it does say that.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, it may not be exactly all the time. I see in this particular instance, they shipped all that we expected and it all happened to occur on one invoice. If there were trucking availability issues or whatever, and there was a substantial, so I think it's still good to bring it up. But in this particular case, we've approved that amount, and I would just, balance that out to zero because, we can't even get a truckload to fill in that 1,500 box.
Yeah.
My question there would be though, how are we accounting? And because I like what Sally did, how are we then accounting for the remainder, the 1436.47 that was not spent?
Well, my recommendation is that basically we're going to consider this a done deal, and at the moment we have no spending authority until we bring it up again.
Okay, I thought you were suggesting, I don't know, maybe I misunderstood, that you were suggesting that it in essence be considered as 12,000, but we didn't spend 12,000.
No, I guess and again, I say it's good to have the discussion on it to make sure we're all on the same page because, in this particular case, this represented 5 loads of salt, and it all was on one invoice. So right now, we're not expecting any more to conclude that $12,000 because when we're basically paying per ton, and maybe they gave us 20 tons or maybe they give us 21 tons. In this particular case, we don't know what the exact amount of the invoice is going to be until they ship it. But if we had a situation where because of trucking availability or whatever, that, you know, they only shipped us $6,000 worth and then backlog the rest, well, then yes, we would want to carry this till we got closer to that 12 and at least have a conversation is, yeah, there's more coming, or no, this one's done. We like, kind of like when we've gone in there, we've, you know, decided to buy a truck or something, yeah, we've given them spending authority to, you know, spend up $30,000 and we closed the deal at $25,500. Well, clearly we're not going to buy another truck for $500 or something. So,
Right. You're just talking for tracking purposes for this
Right.
document.
yeah, because
Okay.
I think what Sally wants to avoid is having to track a lot of loose ends. You know, how far do you track this? And in my opinion on this one is there's no need to track this one. Consider as we did on the board, we authorized up to 12,000. It came in at 10,005. At this point, there is going to be no balance. And when Public Works is ready to make another order, then we'll revisit it.
I understand.
Does that take, Sally?
Yes, that answers my question. That works out perfectly.
Okay, good. And yes, I agree with you. Sometimes in the past, you know, we might have been looking at it a little bit differently, so the language is probably slightly different. And hopefully we'll consider that continuous improvement. Any other questions for Sally on that subject? So thank you for getting that out ahead of time and everything. It works out really nice to get prepped for that. So thank you. Okay, let me get my agenda back open here. Being on the road, I didn't print out a copy to have with me, so it's okay. Public Works staffing. Chad, can you just kind of give us a quick update where we stand with our newest employee?
Yeah, Brian's doing quite well. Our COVID style training still keeps the training at one level, but he's taking to everything very well, taking good notes, extremely prompt, been very reliable for show up. Really good work, attitude and ethic. The beginning things, all passed, the physical and what have you, all went very well. He's fit in nicely with our crew. We're very satisfied with the performance to date, and he is taking on very quickly the training, and we'll start cutting him loose a little bit more independently here very soon.
And I'm sure it came in handy for having another set of hands with all the snow you guys been dealing with.
Absolutely, his previous work history with landscaping and agricultural background has paid off nicely. He's taken to it quite well, and it has been helpful to have the extra set of hands, indeed.
Okay, what was the official date he was on staff?
It was a week ago today, right?
That was our target. So, okay, so that would be,
The 25th?
okay, so just, yep, 25th.
Yeah. Oh boy, yeah. Sorry, he came on staff on the
18th?
Yeah. It's been one long running week. Yeah, the 18th.
Okay, that way there we can kind of just, and I'll leave that on the agenda for the next couple meetings. So that way there we just give a quick update that things are going, and that way there as we approach the probationary date, that way there we'll be able to clean that up. So. Village generator, Public Works, building electrical.
Oh, the first part, I know that at budget time, it was considered that evidently the full board was in favor of the purchase of a generator getting split between 3 departments, O&M, the office, and the police department. I know we've done this, got quotes year over year over year. I've previously gotten some industrial style quotes. We went with more of a residential local electrician that has essentially a turnkey project that he can do. It was quoted last year when we were asked by JP Electric. And just kind of put it in perspective, Rush Power that does the commercial industrial was close to $16,000 to $18,000, depending on what direction we went. And JP Electric was just under 11,000 last year, but after the rollover of 2021, change in certain aggregates, his updated pricing is $11,350.
And assuming the budget is approved, Jeremy, do you recall the amount that we allocated?
I don't. I was looking through my notes right now, seeing if I could find it.
It should have been really close to 3,800 per department, but with the new computer, I wasn't able to pull up here quickly before the meeting to see which line item they were. Sally may be able to answer that, where we had it.
I'll have to look.
Well, if it was 3,800 times 3, that's 11,400. So at least we're still within that window.
So again, this would be a unit that's standalone. It would be natural gas fed. It'd be on the west side of the building. It would be automatic transfer, electric start, a small alarm system. Really not a lot more to say than that. It's more the residential style. Single
And
phase.
again, and all I really wanted to do for purposes of tonight is we, the final budget is not approved, but Chad and I were talking on a couple other issues. And so I just asked him that, while he's dealing with some of that stuff, to have an updated quote, knowing that we kind of turn the calendar year around. So if that, does get passed into the budget, that we're in a position that if the board wants to move, sooner rather than later, that we had all our paperwork and, kind of knew where we stood. So I'm not proposing we make any decision on it at this point. That's the next move is, see what the board does relative to the overall budget. And then if we set a priority on it, then we're ready to go.
I'll have those line items available for the board meeting for discussion.
Okay, and part B of that, Chad, for the Public Works garage?
Kind of along the same lines with last year's electrical upgrade down at the Public Works facility. 3 of our 5 buildings are properly fed now, underground and generator supported. We do have the uniqueness. We did have 3 electrical service feeds, so 3 electric meters. In the grand scheme of things, we would like to reduce that to 1 electrical feed from a more reliable source, which is the new one. So we're looking to light up our main Public Works operations building, our main shop, to the generator supported electrical service. So I was going to look for committee approval to go up to 2,500 for those means, but the contractor was not able to produce pricing due to some hurdles since Mike and I spoke. So I'd like to still ask for that up to 2,500 to go towards that out of our building maintenance fund, but I don't have the hard numbers to support it today.
And that is an item that during the building of the budget that you had factored into?
Yes, in the building maintenance.
Overall opinion, Jeremy, with because again, that is something that Chad and I can work out within our spending authority levels. With 2 or 3 of us here, do you have any comments, yay or nay, on the direction on that?
I don't have any issues with it now.
Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll just note that we've kind of discussed in concept or whatever, and once we get some final numbers, if it falls within the allowance that Chad and I have to work with, and we did factor that into the budget, we'll just go ahead and get it taken care of.
On a side note, I did find the generator. It's 4,000 for each of the three.
Okay, so it looks like we're still within the window, even if there's a little contingency that we get surprised on something, so. So once we get the board approved, which I expect is probably gonna be at next Monday's meeting, then we can act on that one accordingly. Okay, next item, capital equipment.
We've not taken enough action to bring anything before the committee.
Okay, no
You're
problem.
all aware of what our plans are for the year. We've got some marina, some of the vehicles and things we plan to upgrade, but we don't have anything to present.
What have you been basking in the sun or something? Didn't have anything work?
It was
No,
sunny today here.
Yeah, I just hope you guys haven't built me a frickin' ice dam or whatever, so when I try to get, you'll get a free thaw cycle between now and the time I get home. I'll have a real fun time clearing my driveway off.
It all thawed today. You'll be fine.
Are we expecting any more between now and Saturday?
Maybe Thursday. And then it's going to be bad because it's going to get cold.
It could be worse. We could be out on the East Coast when they're projecting 18 inches.
Yeah, no thanks.
Any update on the street project?
Work is in progress. I'm expect Seth to bring it for presentation at next month's meeting. We've had quite a little bit of engineering have to happen for the ADA accessible walks. There's several of those, and we had to do quite a bit of alterations in order to be compliant with current ADA standards.
Any progress, Mary, with your contacts at Rock River?
Actually, no, we've been playing phone tag and we don't have anything definitive yet.
Okay.
He's on my list to call again this week.
Well, if something comes up between now and Monday, we can talk about it then. If not, we'll get it worked in
Okay.
with, well, so. And we'll take 12 and 13 together. Any updates on hail damage, Chad?
Our dialogue with the insurance company is still really good. We still have about every other week phone conversation. As Sally knows, we've gotten checks for most of what they've approved. There's still a couple little items that, like I spoke about last month, we're still going over exact count on the street lights that we owned, and then the lighted diamond there are two wild cards right now. So that work is ongoing.
Okay.
So Chad, have there been payments then made, or Sally, in 2021? Because I see on Sally's listing it indicates we've gotten the payments apparently from the insurance, but then contractor payments, we've only paid out 26,000 so far.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay.
Correct. We have not released any further work.
Yes, and everything that I've been made aware of that they're going to pay us has been paid.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, anything to report out on your water meters?
It's just ongoing. All the upgrades are going very well. There's some small struggles up in the office between the new folks and the learning curve and everything, but the simple ones are being dealt with quite a bit more regularly. As forecast, just to make the committee aware, we did believe that some of the original generation meters that got put in 21 2 years ago might kind of fail about the same time. We are seeing a ramp up of the original infrastructure aging out a little bit quicker. So just be prepared as a committee that will probably be coming to order more replacement topper units, the radios themselves, but we did plan for that in the budget. But all that being said, it's going very good. The system, the upgrade is going very well.
It's what we like to hear. Now, with all this weather, are you still in good shape, or do you see any need for salt between now and the next meeting?
We will revisit that next month. We pretty much the invoice we just discussed, those loads just came in, so we're okay at the moment.
And the weather will start improving and you won't have to use as much of it. So
That'd be all right.
if we taken on our minimum requirement,
Yes, we've taken our minimum. No, oh, I'm sorry. No, I was counting the rollover. No, we have not yet.
okay.
At least one load.
I suspect we haven't heard any update on the DCEO grant.
Correct.
Mary, anything to report out to this committee or just defer till next week on Highlands?
Well, I can tell you that we know the date of the tax sale now, and that's going to be at the end of February 28th, I believe. And so Attorney Keelty and I are working on that agreement that will come before the board for approval. Hopefully that will be for this board meeting. The only thing is that if there's any changes then with his client, we may have to have a special board meeting. I'll talk to Frank about that just to get a final approval, just because of the fact that we want to make sure the redemption is made before the tax sale so we don't have added costs.
Understood. Thank you. And I'm sure that probably with all the activity this time of year, plus all the snow removal activity, probably retention bonds has not been high on your radar.
Correct.
Any budget or employee issues not already discussed?
Yeah. I don't think so. No.
So that for attorney, probably our biggest priority is just to continue to move on the Rock River Water Reclamation District activity, and then obviously at the board level, the Highlands.
Correct.
Anything to report out on items 25 through 35?
I don't see any, Mike. There was new business maybe you had wrapped up with employee input.
You know what? I inadvertently skipped it over that. My apologies. We can go back and get the new business.
Well, just a small informational. There is developer interest in the property up by the dollar store. Just to make the trustees aware that there may be action in the near future.
Now that'll go hand in hand with what we're working on the Highlands, then, right?
It'll jump ahead because that is previously sold property. That is not part of it's part of the Highlands development, but it's not owned by the developer. It's sold twice already. So there is interest in that lot, and it's valid interest where they've done certain things. And I'm at liberty to say that they've hired an engineering firm. They've developed a site plan, a conceptual site plan, and they've begun the preliminary review process to ensure the feasibility for the client.
That's good news. Thank you for the update. It usually kind of feels foolish sometimes when, as a trustee, sometimes when you get a question asked that somebody knows a whole lot more than we haven't had a clue. So it's nice to know, even if there's things bubbling around the surface or whatever. So,
And they have been forwarded all of our logistical documents as far as the UDO and Article 11 that they would have to file and follow for true building. So a little bit of that. It's not a development because the property's already developed, but the kicker, if something were to happen, we would maybe finally get that close in the loop of the walking path that's never been constructed.
well, good.
Who
Well,
owns that currently, Chad? You know?
German American State Bank or one of their
Okay.
affiliated holdings.
That's what I thought you were gonna say. Okay.
well, good. As things develop and as you're in a position that you can provide information and it's not privileged or whatever, we thank you for the update.
That's all I had.
Good. Well, we don't have anything, we go to executive session. Does anybody else have any other new business? Okay, let's see here. March. Wow, man, the world just travels too fast. I would say that we'll target Monday, March the 1st for our meeting. Do we want the 4 o'clock? Do we want the 5 o'clock?
The 4 o'clock is currently okay. I'm waiting for a final confirmation email that wrestling season will start in March. So we might have to push that off, but again, it's all up in the air still. So let's
Okay.
shoot for 4.
Well, we'll shoot for 4. We can always make a change. And that's 4 o'clock Central, only because I'm currently sitting in the East, and I think on the 1st, I'm going to be in the Pacific time zone, so I'm getting myself all screwed up. It's a good thing my phone changes time zones for me when I move them, otherwise I'd be in a world of hurt. Okay, well, that was nice and efficient, guys. That might be one of our shortest meetings on record. So I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Well, then we can't hang out anymore. I guess. Here we go. We'll make that motion to adjourn.
Well, put it this way, I'm down in Florida. Yesterday was my father's 90th birthday that I got to celebrate with him. So I figured
Oh, cool.
that's a milestone or whatever. So I figured we'll wrap up here, and he's visiting with my wife right now, so we'll go visit. So it's kind of a milestone day. It was, and usually I bring the rain down here. I just brought the cold. The next couple of days are only going to be in the 50s, but I guess it's better than what you guys are dealing with. So
This is true.
So Jeremy made the motion. Mike will second. Roll call. Jeremy?
Yes.
And Mike McKinnon votes yes. Mr. Malagranda is absent. So that will conclude the meeting at 4:36 p.m. Central.
I am very
Thank
impressed.
you.
Good job, everybody.
Hey,
Bye.
teamwork.